Hello, thought I'd take you for a ride along and chat about some books and bookish goals for the new year. Or hopefully this isn't too windy. Happy New Year, BookTube. So I thought I would take you for a ride and chat, but I think being on my bike was a little bit too windy. I thought I'd make a quick video for my 2022 reading goals, channel plans, and my January TBR. So I've barely got started on here. I've only made one video, so I've got a fresh year ahead of me. Very motivating. In this last year, I did have a goal of reading 24 books in the year. I did not meet that goal. I was about 4 books short. And I don't think that counting books is really for me. So I was thinking about what I want to get out of my reading and came up with a few things. But this year I'm really looking forward to reading where my interests lie, what is pleasurable, what creates community from reading, as well as what just perpetuates momentum. Sometimes I will read something and it will make me want to read something else. One of the skills I'd like to develop this year is synthesizing my reading, meaning that I would like to be able to really hone in on what I think about a piece of reading, how it makes me feel. One of the skills that I would like to develop this year is synthesizing my reading, really honing in on what I think about a piece or how a piece of writing makes me feel, and being able to talk about it, whether that's to a camera or within a group of people like my reading group. Like I said, I have already made a video on here that was basically a TBR, but I had a really hard time making a wrap-up video and just talking about what I had read. I think that that's probably a skill that one can develop. I found it really hard to actually make that video, and I kept getting just jammed up on like what it is I would even want to say about the books. So one of the projects that I had planned was to do some author spotlights. I have 2 in mind. One of them is for Rabih Alameddine, who has written a number of books, and I just love this author. I think that the way that he crafts stories and is just so wonderful, and you'll hear more about him. Another author spotlight I'd like to do is reading through Ronaldo Arena's Patagonia series. This was a series of 5 novels that he wrote and dubbed The Secret History of Cuba. Last year I had reread his Before Night Falls, which kind of details the writing and rewriting and the harrowing sort of saga of like getting his manuscripts out of the country to be published. I would like to read this in Spanish, but it is a little bit too complex for my reading level, so I'm gonna try to read it back to back with the English version, so we'll see how that goes. And like many people, I'd like to read more broadly, translated works, literature from around the globe, authors that are marginalized in one way or another from the publishing industry. I'm also interested in learning more about like independent publishers, ones that have a different kind of ethos, and reading through their catalog. Okay, on to my January TBR. So I have 4 books. 3 are related. One is this sort of outlier. The first book is The Arabian Nights. It is for sure a classic translated work. Actually, it's like translated upon edited work. I am not reading the Sir Richard Burton version. I can't remember who the editor / multiple translators were on. I'll put it up in the corner here. But I've been wanting to read this ever since I saw Patience Zero which was a Canadian kind of art house musical about AIDS. It was a little bit ahead of its time in some aspects. I will put the link to that below. Next up, I have The 30 Names of Night by Zeyn Joukhadar. I know only 4 things about this book and really nothing about the plot. The author identifies as transmasculine, uses he, him, his pronouns. He is Syrian American. The book itself I found in the teen section, so I guess YA content. This book won a Lambda Literary Award in 2020 or 2021, not sure. Next up, I have The Wrong End of the Telescope by Rabih Alameddine, and I love this author, and I've only read a couple of his books, but they are just gems. He's a really unsung writer, in my opinion. This book takes place in a Syrian refugee camp in Lesbos. The main protagonist is a trans woman who is also a surgeon, who is also a Syrian refugee or immigrant. I've listened to a number of interviews with the author about this book, and there's so many topics I can't even kind of list them all right now, but there's many themes in here that I'm really excited to explore. Alright, I am running out of battery, so I'm going to wrap this up. The last one that I have is sort of an outlier. It doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the books. It is The Man with Night Sweats by Thom Gunn. This is a book that my book club had chosen. We wanted to read his Letters of Thom Gunn, but had a hard time finding it, so we thought we would read this book of poetry instead. It's a little thin one, and I'm just parsing it out, reading a poem or 2 poems a day out loud in the morning. It's kind of beautiful. Anyways, thanks for listening. I'm gonna try to get this together and post it today. Once again, Happy New Year, and I hope you have a fantastic reading year ahead of you. Bye.